In this video, we will be talking about step 3 in our validation process, which is really formulating your value proposition. And I'll also talk a little bit about what's the best way to really understand your customer. So once you've done all their interviews, you should be at a point where you've derived certain insights from them, and you should kind of be able to understand what is it about your proposed business that people would be really interested about. What value could you give to them? And we want to write it down as a value proposition. The classic way to do that is to fill in the gaps in this sentence, is to say we help describe your customer do what they want to do by doing this is what you do as a company. And here is an example I've written down very quickly just to illustrate is Zebra Farm helps first-time founders go from an idea to a business quicker by teaching them the key startup skills, how to validate, build, and grow. That's probably not the best value proposition in the world, but that illustrates a point, and I think this does the job. And the reason we have it is that in the next step, we will be putting together a landing page, and we need to really be able to explain it, what the core proposition, what the unique value proposition of our business is, so that we can put it on the website. An example from Zebra Farm is here: validate, build, and grow. Develop your key startup skills. I have attached more examples to the Miro board so that you can have some inspiration. Good ones are Airbnb, Patch Plans, and a couple more. They are all there, so you can take a look. One of the things behind value proposition, something we do as we're trying to understand it, is to really understand who your customer is, because that is obviously critical. That's the first gap in the sentence. And as we're doing that, very often people who are quite inexperienced with that arrive at something like this: we will target 20 to 35-year-olds living in London making over 55 grand. And that sounds good, I guess, but every time people come to me with that, my question back to them is, so, okay, if that's your customer, go and target them. And this is where it goes wrong, because it sounds good. We know their age, we know their area, we know their income level, but what does it actually mean? What do we know about this group that helps us find them? Because finding them is the key. And I think this is not a very good way to describe that. This is kind of the gist of a persona, whereas persona was a much more, persona is a marketing framework, which was much more detailed than this, but somehow that's what a lot of people take out from that, and they think that's a good description of their audience. What we do instead is, it's not about the age, it's not about their income necessarily, that's about the jobs to be done. This is a concept that I find to be very helpful to really understand your customer. Because what people do is that they buy not products, they buy tools that allow them to get certain jobs done. And when you're thinking about jobs to be done, those are sort of class and free categories. The first one is a functional job. For example, my job could be to increase the revenue of the company. That's a functional job. And this is something you can help your customers do. This is why it's important to understand what they're trying to achieve. A second type could be a social. For example, I want to look trendy when I go to work because, something along these lines, something done within the social context. And the third one is an emotional job to be done. I want to feel sad when I watch the movies. It's probably a very silly example. I want to feel happy when I go on holiday. I don't know what that is, but it's something to do with emotions. And this is a very important concept, because once you understand the customer jobs, as opposed to just age and this kind of very high level groups, it becomes easier for you to find them and to target them. So these jobs are something you're trying to understand from the interviews. What are they really trying to achieve and do? And if you're looking for a way to put together your value proposition and really see how things come together, a very handy tool is a value proposition canvas. If you've never used it before, there is a link below for a 2-minute video by Strategizer who came up with this. The main idea is that your customers have gains, pains, and jobs to be done. And for each of those 3 segments, which you derive from your customer interviews, you can have gain creators to help them gain the things they are striving towards. You can have products and services that help them get the jobs done, and you can have pain relievers for their pains and problems. And this should be quite a handy tool and an exercise to go through if you're really struggling to put together a cohesive value proposition based on your interviews. In the next video, we will be talking about traction testing and how to put together everything that we've done so far to really go out in the real world and test whether our value proposition is something that works for our customer group.